He was a member of the signal chain, and the discussion included the Vice President's private opinion on the wisdom of proposed U.S. strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Vance, quote, "I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the President is aware of how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. There was a strong argument for delaying this a month." You don't recall?
I don't, as you
You don't recall seeing that?
read that, I don't.
It included the private opinions of the Secretary of Defense on the timing of strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Director Radcliffe, surely you prepared for this hearing today. You were part of a group of principals, senior echelons of the U.S. government, in now a widely publicized breach of sensitive information. You don't recall whether the Vice President opined on the wisdom of the strikes? That's your testimony today under oath?
In that setting, I don't recall.
Here's what Secretary Hegseth said, quote, "Waiting a few weeks or months does not fundamentally change the calculus. Two immediate risks on waiting. One, this leaks and we look indecisive. Two, Israel takes an action first or Gaza ceasefire falls apart and we don't get to start this on our own terms." Your testimony is you don't recall the Secretary of Defense sending that message or reading it?
I recall there being an exchange. I don't recall the specifics as you're reading it.
Well, let's put it this way, Director Radcliffe, a discussion by senior U.S. officials on the timing and risks of a proposed military campaign and disagreements between the President and the Vice President about U.S. plans and intentions would be of obvious interest to foreign intelligence services, would it not?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be happy to take your extra 13 seconds, but I want to go back to what I addressed at the outset. I mean, this was not only sloppy, it not only violated all procedures, but if this information had gotten out, American lives could have been lost. The Houthis had this information, could reposition their defensive systems. So I want to get a little more information about this. Director Gabbard, did you participate in the group chat with Secretary of Defense and other Trump senior officials discussing the Yemen war plans?
Senator, I don't want to get into the specifics.
Ma'am, were you on? You're not going to be willing to address. So you're not, are you denying, Matt, will you answer my question, ma'am? You were not TG on this group chat?
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
So you refuse to acknowledge whether you were on this group chat?
Senator, I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Why are you going to get into the specifics? Is it because it's all classified?
Because this is currently under review by the National Security
Because
Council.
it's all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
As the White House previously
Is it classified or non-classified information on this text?
I can confirm.
Director Radcliffe, were you on the group chat?
Senator, I was on a signal messaging group.
So you were the John Radcliffe on that chat?
I was.
Thank you, thank you.
Can I provide some context, Senator, to that?
Yes, but I've got a series of questions.
Well, but I think it's important because at the outset, you made a couple of comments about signal messaging using encrypted apps. So that we're clear, one of the first things that happened when I was confirmed as CIA director was signal was loaded onto my computer at the CIA, as it is for most CIA officers. One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a practice that preceded the current administration to the Biden administration.
Director Radcliffe, I've got a series of questions. If you're making the statement, making the statement, the signal is a secure channel.
No, can I answer that? It is
I've got a series of
end-to-end decryption. So to finish,
I understand encryption.
It is permissible to use to communicate and coordinate for work purposes, provided, Senator, that any decisions that are made are also recorded through formal channels. Right. So those were procedures that were implemented. My staff implemented those processes, followed those processes, complied with those processes, and finally, just please, so my communications, to be clear, in a signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful and did not include classified information.
Well, we will make that determination, because if it's not classified, share the text with the committee. Let me go on. Director Gabbard, you are the security executive and set access guidelines for classified information. Did you contact the defense secretary or others after this specific military planning was put out and say, hey, we should be doing this in a SCIF?
There was no classified material that was shared in that
So then, if
signal
there was no
check.
classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security. Bobbing and weaving and trying to, filibuster your answer. So please answer the question. If this was Director Gabbard, if this was a rank and file intelligence officer who did this kind of careless behavior, what would you do with them?
Senator, I'll reiterate that there was no classified material that was shared in that
And if there's
signal.
no classified in materials, share. And then if there's no classified materials, then you can't even answer the question whether you're on the chat. This is strangely familiar, and I think my colleagues will remember, when you couldn't answer the question, is Edward Snowden a traitor?
Seriously? I don't know. Maybe, Madam Chairwoman, it's really important to the people of North Carolina. You may have a lot of constituents who have walk-in refrigerators. I don't know. But for me, I can tell you, I just spent a week in Colorado, in the rural communities that I represent, hosting town halls, visiting with folks in my community, constituents, ranchers, farmers, teachers, working families, packed town halls. And at those town halls, you know the one subject that no one brought up? Commercial refrigerators. It never came up. No constituent of mine approached me at a town hall that we held 3 days ago with over 1,000 people in my community. No one at that town hall said, Congressman, can you please go back to Washington and pass legislation on commercial refrigerators? It's really important. Nobody said that. They were really concerned about the Republicans' plan to gut Medicaid. They're pretty concerned about the Republican plans to dismantle Social Security offices across the country. They're deeply concerned about reports that this administration is going to end phone line customer service for senior citizens who are relying on Social Security. They're pretty concerned about a Secretary of Defense who apparently is sending out war plans on unencrypted messaging apps, putting our national security at risk. Those are the topics that my constituents care about. Commercial refrigerators is not one of them. And you can tell the frustration, I suppose, Mr. Speaker, in my voice. It is the frustration born from having to come to the floor every week and debate appliances. Can the Republicans just put all of the appliance bills on, in for consideration 1 week, and we'll just do them all, and then we can be done with it, and we can move on to having a debate about defending Medicaid, defending health care for the millions of Americans who rely on it? Is that too much to ask? I just would beg of the chairwoman. I understand this is an important priority to her. It's important to the Republican caucus. We get it. You all are obsessed with appliance regulation. Okay. After this week, can we please just be done with these appliance resolutions and get back to debating the issues that the American people expect us to debate? With that,
Pete Hegseth thinks that Pete Hegseth should be fired. If you listen to what he has said over the years on his weekend shows, he has called out people for instances of national security that were not even close to what he did as far as his breach, for them to be gone. So it's actually remarkable to me that as we talk right now, Pete Hegseth has not resigned. He should absolutely resign. He may have violated the Espionage Act, as some of your other guests have said. He also violated the Don't Be an Idiot Act. And it's also concerning that the other people in the group chat didn't say, hey, should this even be on Signal? Or two, are we allowed to have disappearing messages considering all the records we're supposed to keep? And three, hey, who's that number that none of us recognize? And so this is, of course, very concerning. And as someone who represents a pretty big troop community with a military base in one of the biggest cities in my district, this puts all of their security at risk. So it's shocking that he's still the Secretary of Defense.
Congressman, given everything that you've just said, how prepared are Democrats to push the call for Hegseth's resignation? You've said that this is something that really should result in him leaving this post. Are Democrats ready for that fight?
Hey, I'm ready for it. And we have to meet the moment right now, because our adversaries, our enemies in the world, are looking at this clown show and they're wondering, is this the time to maybe invade Taiwan because America doesn't have its act together? Is this the time, for our terrorist organization to hit America because these morons are on the watch? And so, yes, we have to meet this moment right now, call for his resignation, and also insist that we have all the records that they have tried to delete so we understand just what else has been put at risk.
Now, you and former Republican Congressman David Jolly were just in the Tampa area for a town hall in a Republican district. Let's take a look at the reception that you both received.
Anna Paulina Luna refuses to meet with her constituents. To that, David and I say, to hell with her, we'll talk to you. We'll listen to you, and we will fight for you.
Tell us a little bit about what you were hearing from the people while you were there.
Well, I heard from Democrats, independents, Republicans, people who see their health care security at risk. They see President Trump and Elon Musk getting rid of FBI agents who are supposed to keep us safe.